People always say a jack of all trades and a master of none, and as sisters who together have accumulated many strange skills, this always hits a nerve.
We paint inspired by nature, garden using permaculture techniques, sew our own clothes, draw our thoughts to paper, cook from scratch, raise animals, grow abundant fruit, build our own structures, restore using traditional techniques, and most recently have been exploring the craftsmanship of bamboo building. You could definitely say that we are jacks of all trades and we're probably masters of none. But I recently found out that the saying is always cut off. The full quote is, "A jack of all trades and a master of none is oftentimes better than a master of one." And I think it's so important that we give power to the full quote. It's only human to accumulate skills in many fields and interests. If we only appreciate a specialized master of a skill, we're almost roboticizing our existence. It minimizes our skills to be about productivity, and I wonder if this way of thinking is part of what has led to a diminishment of hand skills in modern times. If we treat ourselves like technology, only appreciating a skill for its absoluteness or perfection, then what's the point, right? We may as well get an algorithm to do it. In this way of thinking, we're forgetting what it means to be human. It's about gathering knowledge, sharing skills, doing things badly sometimes, but learning as we do. It's about being a jack of all trades. So we're on a journey to learn as many skills as we can, to preserve village life, see our hands as more valuable than any algorithm.
Clever, where are you? Hi. Hi. Wow, this is like the most beautiful flower I've ever seen. I can't believe that we grew this in the garden. It's not even 8 a.m. yet and it's already so hot to be in the sun, so I'm going to quickly plant these seedlings and then I might water them in and then get out of the hot sun. Summer is really here.
It's the fault of perfectionism. The idea that if we can't do something better than everyone else, then we shouldn't do it. I fall into these habits sometimes. This flower garden is far from perfect, and sometimes I get so overwhelmed with trying to eliminate every weed that I feel like just abandoning it. But I have to remind myself that it's the weeds woven through the zinnias that show me their beauty. It's the old chicken coop that needs demolishing that inspires me. It's the birds that eat my bananas that teach me new skills like bagging my fruit. It's the garden's imperfection that lets me realize the joy. And I'm not a master gardener, and I probably will never be, but every time I get my hands in the soil and I notice a way that a worm thrives under the mulch, I learn a little bit more. I could read about permaculture all day long, but it's not until I get into the garden and sit below a leafy banana that shades a young marigold seedling, that wards off pests with its smell and attracts butterflies and bees who pollinate everything. It's only then that I understand it. I'm planting watermelons here underneath the bananas, and they're going to be like a ground cover that covers the ground and keeps the nutrition in and keeps it moist. And then there's bananas up high that provide shade. Hey! Don't step on the seedlings. Oh, Clever, don't sit on it. No. See, come on. Oh, you don't know. Okay, fine. You can sit on it. Oh. Careful. No. Oh, you just changed position so you could get better bats. Clever, this is why you don't get invited into the garden very much. Okay, I'm replanting this one. And maybe this one. But he didn't sit on any others. Even with caring for animals, there is so much skill that I've gained over the years and still an endless amount that I have to learn. Every day we have to check him for ticks because he's so small that they could really hurt him. We check everyone for ticks most days by just giving them a pat, but him we have to give a big check over, so that means a big cuddle. Sometimes it means checking his belly. Can I see?
Oh, you don't like that. Good boy. He really likes the scratches, so it's also nice because it builds his character up and he loves humans. But Nymph gets jealous every time. I found a tick. Okay, no, you gotta be chill. Oh, is it uncomfortable, mate? Okay, it's a paralysis, but only small. Ew. On your head. That's scary.
I remember being so frustrated raising animals and not knowing why they would get sick or how to help them. And there's still a lot of times like this, but over the years we've developed practices that keep them healthy. I'm not a master of this knowledge, and I still rely heavily off vets' advice, but we have ways of caring for them that means we don't often have a sick animal.
That's your belly. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. Good girl. She's a really good goat. And this is a really cute goat.
Barber's pole is a very common worm in this area that kills a lot of sheep and goats.
Patting yourself.
It thrives in wet, hot conditions, so a lot of people around here don't raise livestock because of it. We have many practices that keep them healthy, like rotational grazing, mineral mixes, and always checking for any signs of fatigue. And since we've developed this care routine, we've had the flock tested and their worm count is 0, which is pretty unheard of in this area, especially raising them completely naturally without any drenches.
Bye-bye.
We're so proud of this knowledge that we've accumulated, but mostly it's come from being on the land and learning from the harder times. A few years ago we lost a few sheep from Barber's pole and it was devastating. But from it we learnt how to care for the rest of the flock even better, and now they're all thriving.
I just wanted to quickly thank MusicBed for their support on our journey. MusicBed are the music licensing company that are really built for storytellers. I talk a lot about embracing a life of a jack of all trade and always trying to learn as many new skills as I can, but I think the one skill that ties all of my random skills together is actually creating these videos. My mum, my sister and I all work together with random skills that we've picked up along the way to create these videos. When we first started creating and just sharing our life on YouTube, it was many years ago now, and when I look back at those videos I'm always a little bit embarrassed. I think the main difference between our older videos and then the videos that we create now is the music editing. We used to use a lot of awkward free archive music, and I don't think we realized how much it was holding us back at the time, but it wasn't that it was bad, it was just that it didn't serve the story. I think that now we use MusicBed and we're able to, instead of, sorting through all this music for hours on end and trying to find something that almost fits the vibe and never really finding it, everything on MusicBed is curated and it's there for a reason. And my favorite part is it's not just anonymous background music, it's actually artists that are creating work and they're releasing albums and they're touring. So we're not only supporting independent artists, but we're also able to share the depth of what we're trying to say. We're able to create emotion with music, and we're able to really share the landscape, and everything that we want to communicate can be done with music. So if you're a bit of a jack of all trades like us and you dabble in video creation, I would so suggest switching to MusicBed so you can start creating content that truly connects. You can use the link in our description to get a 14-day free trial. Thank you so much, MusicBed.
The naughty goats have found a hole in the paddock, so we've got lots of fencing to do. Hi sheep, you're being good. It seems like every week we have a new hole. Today we found this hole, and yesterday the goats escaped from this paddock and they must have all found their way through, but we put this blue thing here and it seems to have stopped them, but only temporarily, so I'm going to replace the fence today. I can get it so that no goats can sneak through. Hi! Have you come to see what I'm doing? You better see what I'm doing. I'm making sure you can't be naughty anymore, my God. Bird! Bird! Oh my God! No! Newbie! Newbie! No! Oh! No! You are so naughty! Well, I know how they're doing it! No, Maggie! 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 No! You're too big anyway! No escaping! So naughty! I can't believe you do it in front of me. Well, this job is definitely going to be hard with goats by my side trying to get through the whole time. You're not making things easy, Maggie.
Then there's the skills that I never imagined I'd spend so long gaining. On an average, probably once a week, I'm out fixing fences. We often get a call from a neighbour down the valley who says, "There's 7 colourful goats running through my cow paddock. Are they yours?"
Getting through.
To which we normally have no idea how they even got that far or why when there's so much grass and shrubs that need eating at home. So I spend many hours in the paddock with my fencing pliers and normally a few rascal goats by my side.
You're not a lapdog. You're not a lapdog, Nim. Nim, don't headbutt. I know you do it for love, but it's a really bad habit. You can't, okay?
I normally end up really thankful for an afternoon out in the paddock cuddling with these cuties, and I learn new skills each time. This is another reason that the Master of None quote doesn't make sense, because skills are so interchangeable. Learning to fence and fix holes for the goats has brought me so much knowledge that I use in many ways. Working with wire has been really helpful in bamboo building, or even when I dabbled in jewellery making in a course in Indonesia.
It's very obvious you don't want me to fence, and you're distracting me.
You can find inspiration and individuality in these differing skills. My fashion practice is heavily shaped by my work on the farm. It was regenerative farming that made me realise that the fashion industry could develop from the same principles. It is the combinations of many ideas, interests, or skills that make my work what it is. So I'm really proud to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, because each skill that I learn or interest that I research gives me a little bit more knowledge, more depth, and more individuality and inspiration.
Oh, you found them. Alright, come home everyone. Come on. Alright, come on! Come on! Come on!
Traditional bamboo joinery has been my latest skill acquired. I learnt these techniques at an amazing course in Indonesia, learning from skilled artisans who had been practicing this art since they were children. Like so many traditional skills, these furniture making techniques are being forgotten to make way for modern furniture that can be made fast on a production line. Wealthier houses once showed off hand-carved tables or hardwood desks or hand-built bamboo and rattan lounges. But now, so many choose cheaply made, minimalist, plastic and polyester furniture. The skill of the artisans aren't appreciated and they're being replaced with automation. This shift takes away the individuality and style and replaces it with uniformity. And even more, it takes away the power of creativity from us. We forget how to use our hands to create. It's easier to buy something than to make it, so a lot of us just settle for bland factory-made things. But today I'm trying to protest against it. Instead of going to the local garden shop and buying a trellis made overseas unethically and unsustainably, I'm making my own. It would probably be cheaper to just go and buy something, but nothing is worth as much as the feeling of creating something yourself. And this is made from scraps of bamboo that I had from building my camper. A tiny piece of recycled wire from a fencing project and my own hands. And again, I'm very much not a master of bamboo, but what I am is a keen learner. As I make mistakes and test different techniques, that's when I learn the most.
Bamboo building has been a really interesting technique for me to learn. In some ways, it's like nothing else I've ever done before, and at first my hands ached from hours of bending and conforming shapes. But it's also quite a combination of so many of my interests. It's regenerative because I collect it from overgrown patches of earth, and by slowly cutting it down, I'm helping the forest to heal. It's all about tessellating shapes, which is quite similar to patchwork, which I use a lot in my sewing designs. Over the last few years, I've been trying to teach myself to building a stud wall for the first time and restoring a bunch of antique windows, and this is often similar, the step-by-step process and the need to stand back and understand the plan. So as I learn, I feel like I'm aided by all of my random skills up my sleeve, bringing knowledge from each of them. But also, I feel like I'm adding to my knowledge bank for all my other skills. I think that I have a new perspective on regenerative farming, seeing all of the devastation of another out-of-control weed. I also think that my brain can reimagine three-dimensional tessellating shapes and how they can fit together, helping me to get inspired for more patchwork projects. And as for building, this technique is endlessly inspiring me for projects that I could build from bamboo. Without perfectionism, I can gain so many useful skills in so many different fields. I use my hands as a tool, from designing and pattern drafting to sewing and tailoring, to seeing finished pieces materialized by my very own hands and mind. From harvesting to treating to carving and building, and finally seeing a finished bamboo camper out camping in the wild Australian landscapes. From restoring a vintage machine, fixing bolts and reattaching a motor, to seeing it in use and being able to embroider and make the dresses of my dreams. From months of measuring and framing up and perfecting, to seeing a hand-built art studio that we can continue to create in. To seeing beauty in the old and discarded and making new things from them. From harvesting straight from the trees and making up recipes with the seasons, cooking from nature. Flower growing, restoring antiques, sketching, crocheting, banana farming, jewelry making. There's so many skills that I've only just dipped the surface of, and so many more that I dream of. So I have discovered that I am a jack of all trades and a master of none, but now I'm shamelessly proud of that fact.